The lighting actually couldn't be worse, but it's like I'm gonna lose the courage. I'm gonna lose the courage to be real tomorrow when I try to do this. I got my heating pad, my PJs. Like, I'm 23 years old, right? I'm gonna be 24 soon. I moved out of my family's house for the first time. I moved out of my parents' house for the first time. I'm truly physically by myself for the first time. At the same time, like, my brain is developing, and I'm like, things are making sense and things are not making sense. And you know, if you're an older person watching this, you probably remember being 23 or whenever it was like this for you. You know, and if you've seen any of my other videos, you know that I believe in God, and you know that I've had like an experience with Jesus and things like that. And so it's like I'm figuring out my spiritual beliefs. You know, I'm figuring out how to trust myself. I'm figuring out how to trust people, and I'm figuring out how to trust God. And it's like, you can't trust yourself, how are you gonna have a relationship with anything else? And I don't trust myself because of things that I've fallen into. It's like, basically what I can describe it as is like being in a cult. It's like I was in like a cult, and when you're like in something like a cult, like it's hard to really know what to believe. It's hard to know, like, when you're in a relationship with someone, romantic or a friendship, it's just like anytime I feel like someone's manipulating me, it's like anytime I feel like someone's manipulating me, I freak out, and it's like I think someone's manipulating me, and then my thought process is, oh, I have to protect myself. I have to protect myself and be on guard. And then I think like, oh, but I can't trust myself. Like, my thinking's not right. Like, how do I know? How do I know that I'm wrong? How do I know that this person is doing this to me? Oh, they're not doing this to me. Like, and it's this, like, I can't trust myself. I can't trust other people, and I can't trust God. I can't trust this higher power, because, you know, whatever we think God is, like, whatever, you know, religion we think is the true one, it's just like, I can't trust any of it because it's coming to me. I'm processing these things, and it's like, I can't trust myself to do that. Since I've like this cult, it's just like witchcraft. It's like toxic new age spirituality. I've already made a video about it. If you want to go watch it, you can go watch it. It's just like I feel kind of screwed up. I feel kind of screwed up. And anyways, like I was saying, since then I've like, anytime I've tried to get into anytime I've tried to talk to create a relationship that was more than a friendship with a guy, I always crash, and I always get so scared, and I always freak out, because I feel like it almost feels like this experience that I had has robbed me of being able to connect with people, because I'm like so scared. And then it's like, I know that, like, of course, let's say there's a negative energy in this world. It's like, of course, that thing would want to keep me from human connection. For so long, I was deep in those spiritual beliefs, like talking to something imaginary, talking to a spirit, you know, it's like whatever. And it's just like, I spent a long time not connecting with people. I don't want to say I don't know how to, you know, I'm not a freak or anything. It's just like, I'm just scared, and no one talks about this, you know. People will make testimonies like, Jesus saved me from witchcraft, from new age spirituality, from GD work, and even like people in cults, like that have been in cults, you know, because it's cult-like belief. It's like this religion, and it's just weird. And yeah, so I'm moved out of my parents' house for the first time, and I'm all alone, and all of these things are happening. I've hurt people because of this. I've started things that deep down I know I shouldn't have started, because I know like I'm not positive about certain things. I'm not positive about the way I feel about sex. I'm not positive if that's something that like I'm comfortable doing or not. Like there's these basic fundamental things like that I'm not sure about, and it's like you can't build a relationship off of instability. Recently, I tried to start a relationship with someone, and as soon as it became official, I was very uncomfortable, because it's like there's all of these things that I'm trying to figure out. There's all of these things that I'm trying to work out, that literally is so hard to explain, because I've never heard anyone talk about it. And like, I know I was talking about how I'm not sure what I believe, but it's like deep, like I know God's real. It's impossible for God, for a higher power, for a creative force in the universe. It's impossible for it to not be real to me. To me, it's like intelligent design, the way everything was made. It points to a creator, the way we are creators, like the needing to be good that comes from within us. It's like when I've wanted to give up, there's been something that's not allowed me to give up, that's not allowed me to. It's just like I don't want to be alone, and I don't want to have to survive with superficial types of relationships. I don't want to keep not trusting myself and disrespecting myself and disrespecting others, and it's like I'm sure the people that I've hurt like literally don't even give two craps. But yeah, wow, it's only been 10 minutes. Dear Lord, it feels like it's been an hour. I'm thinking about the times I've connected with multiple people and how they haven't worked out. Like, I've had moments with people where I've been like, wow, like, this person is like, has to be the one, like, we're connected somehow, and then it falls apart. And in my head, I'm like, you know, I'm talking to God, I'm like, dang, like, am I like silly? Like, am I crazy? Like, why is this happening? And I feel like God was like, you're connecting with people. Like, connection is sometimes inevitable. Like, you don't choose like who you're gonna connect with, you know? Like, you have a moment with someone where you truly deeply resonate with them. It's just like, that doesn't mean just because things fall apart doesn't mean that wasn't real. Like, sometimes things happen, there's a lot of variables in life, and people fall apart, and it's just like, I know it might sound like really simple things to some people, but at the same time, like, I'm sure this also is like can be difficult to understand for some people. I feel like God was just like, yeah, this is connection, like, don't resent connection, you know? Yeah. I'm also realizing, like, I don't think I can be too far from my family. Like, I definitely need a little distance, like healthy distance, but I haven't seen my brother and his daughters for a while, and I just saw him and his family, and I just felt so good seeing them. And like, oh my gosh, like I've missed them so much. No matter how angry I get, like I miss them. You know, I'm just understanding the importance of connection, of being with people. It's like, yeah, I feel like the witchcraft and the cultish stuff and the new age spiritualism robbed me. It was like putting me to death, and it robbed me of life and connection. And now, like, I'm just seeing that. And it's like, okay, it's cool, I've come to this like awareness, like I've been given this clarity, and it's just like what do you do with it, you know? Like, am I wise enough to like handle, like, do I understand how to like steward this? Do I understand how to learn from this? Do I understand how to really take the lesson? Or is it just going to be something, just another thing that's floating off that I don't understand, another thing that's floating off that I don't trust? Like, when I say another thing that I don't trust, another element of healing that I've been experiencing since, you know, coming out of the culty new age stuff. You know, I like want to go to school. Sounds kind of funny, but I want to go to school to like be a doctor and to help people who experience things like I have, because I'm like, if other people are going through this, who are like, I'm not extremely self-aware, I'd like to say I'm almost a little bit self-aware. If other people are going through this who are less self-aware, there's someone has to do something about it, you know, someone has to help people. Like, if not me, then who? That's just like how I've been feeling. Like, I want to go to school, and it's like 3 a.m. It's like 4 a.m. I've just been thinking about like, yeah, just relationships that have happened, like friendships, almost talking situations, and it's just like, I should have never gotten into any of them, because I want to say like I shouldn't have gotten into any of them because I wasn't ready, but it's like I was never gonna know that I wasn't ready. Like, if I didn't make these mistakes, I was never gonna know. Like, it was just inevitable. We can't be so hard on ourselves. Like, I can't be so hard on myself, because you don't know what you don't know. I feel like I was understanding this the other day, like, when it comes to shame and mistakes, like, if we're talking about the enemy or the negative part of ourselves, when we make a mistake, when we do something we shouldn't do, we can feel shame and self-pity, or we can feel righteous, like a conviction, not like a condemnation, shameful condemnation, but a conviction, like a useful conviction that comes from God, your higher power, that, you know, tells you what happened lovingly, what you did wrong, what you can learn from this. Because without love, like, I don't think the human condition can survive. Like, it doesn't have to be super sweet, soft love, like tough love, like correction, like, is love. Shame and condemnation, that's not love. And it's just like, it sucks that these things have happened, that I've hurt people, that I've hurt myself, that I've lost relationships, that I've lost connections, but like, I didn't. You don't know if you don't know. I remember like someone like had asked me like to be their girlfriend, and as soon as like they did, like, I got uncomfortable. You know, I just brought this up, but it's just like, in my head I was just like, oh, I'm just a nervous person, you know, like things just make me nervous. But it's like, no, like, I just didn't understand what I was feeling. I wasn't aware at all. And it's crazy because it's like, I want to tell myself like, I've never been like this, like, I've never been the type of person to be like a fearful, avoidant, attachment type of person, you know, because I've been in relationships like that, and it's been like, you're the worst person in the world, like, just leave me alone. And it's like, no, I'm here in this space. It gives me like a lot of sympathy and understanding for people that are like that, which is really interesting. But yeah, I never thought in a million years I would be like that. I would never thought in a million years that I'd be like so like wounded and like scared to trust, that I would be like that. Almost all the time I beat myself up, but it's just like, literally there was no way. Like, I wasn't just gonna avoid love and connection. Like, at least You know, maybe it's good that I tried, even though like I tried for a little bit, even though like things didn't work out. Like I tried, and even though like relationships like are messed up, I learned. Like I learned a lot. Just like I learned that I don't trust myself, I don't trust other people, and I don't trust God. I don't know about those three things, and it's like, but I know that much. I haven't been able to like really verbalize that this whole time since I've come out of all of this stuff, and it's been like a year now. It's been a year, and a year really isn't long at all. But here in time and space, it feels so long. I do believe that God, that the creative intelligence of the universe understands that we're bound by time and space. I don't want to get too crazy, but I say that to say, like, I think love understands how difficult things can be here, how difficult things can be up here, and there comes a lot of understanding with that. And I want to learn how to like really give myself that understanding, so I can be productive, so I can be a better friend, so I can be a better daughter, so I can be a better girlfriend, so I can be a good wife, so I can be a good mother. Like, it just feels like spiritual warfare. It just feels like so much crap, you know, and I don't really feel like going there right now. Also, like, I reconnected with someone from my past who like I never thought I would talk to again, and they were telling me, like, you know, things happen, people come back into contact, like life, you know. And again, it's like, duh, Abby, my name's Abby, by the way, it's like, duh, those things happen. But it's just like I'm like learning about human connection again. I can learn this, you know, I can do this, I can figure it out. Like I said, I know this much now. I know that I don't know certain things, and I know, and it's only been a year. It's only been 365 days, roughly, out of 100 years, however much I will live. That is a blink of an eye. That is a blink of an eye on the scale of eternity. And another thing that kind of hit me, I was in my car one day and I just had this thought of like, you have to at least try to enjoy life. Point number one. Point number two, like, life, being alive, the blood going through you, like, this is a gift. This is life, being alive, life flowing through a body. And you know, this might sound kind of crazy to some people, but it's like, no, I'm not insecure in this belief, but it's just like, I don't know who's gonna watch this, but anyways, it's just like, it was a big deal for me. I was in my car driving, listening to music. Yeah, it was just like this thing, like, you have to at least try to do it. If you feel like that, like, I was gonna say that sounds kind of pitiful, but it's just like, if you feel like that, if you feel like you don't even try to enjoy life, and you're just like really like stuck in pain, like shame, feeling bad, feeling pitiful about it, I'll just say it won't help. I don't have like the best solution, you know, but I do know that being pitiful about it does not help. And part of me is like, the things that I've messed up, the multiple friendships that I've messed up, like, a part of me is like, will they work out? Will we ever be friends again? And it's just like, it's life. that's the unknown, like, of human relationships and human connections. Kind of cool. All dorky. This is just coming from someone, like I said, who's like very and deep into astrology, deep into crystals, deep into deity work, like very much like into magic, like a nerd like that. Okay, I know it's weird, but very much like that. And I've always been very spiritually inclined and stuff like that, and it's just like, it's who I am, like learning, discovering, the trial and error, like it's just who I am. That's who you are too. That's who, it's this human thing that we have going on, the trial and error. It's just like crap. Like if you struggle with depression, like if you take medication and the medication doesn't even work, like you just gotta say fuck the shame, fuck the shame, because whatever's out there, whatever's inside of you, whatever self-hate, insecurity that's inside of you, whatever the enemy tries to poke at you and mess with you about, it's like surviving. I'm just feeling for some reason like surviving, getting through this. It's not just about me, like it's not just for my sake. Of course doing it for myself, it's a given. Like what I was gonna say was, it's not just about me. Like it just feels like at least maybe one person needs to hear this, or like maybe someone just needs some understanding too. It starts with me. It starts with ourselves. Like I want to say, like, it's not about us, but it's about honestly, like it's about like helping humanity, being like of service. But it's like you can't be of service to anyone if you're not in service of yourself. Not to be self-seeking, self-serving, and only looking out for yourself. But it's like we move from a place in relationships throughout this world. We move from a place of how we interact with ourselves through our own perceptions, and you just can't be successful if you're not at first successful with yourself. And I used to have this mindset like okay, deep down, I would be like, okay, you know what, I'm not really too concerned about myself. I care more about other people. Like this was to my detriment. Like I care more about other people than I care about myself. So like, let me get better, but not for myself, for other people, so I can be that better wife, that better friend, that better daughter. And it's just like, it literally, like, you can't have one without the other. Like they're like hand in hand. Like in the Bible it says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Whatever's inside of you comes out. Like I don't trust myself. Like it just makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. It has to start with ourselves. It really, really does. And I'm a Christian, as in, I say I'm a Christian as in I love Jesus. Sometimes, at least American Christian here in America, some people, if they're a Christian, they just think they're good just because they're a Christian, and they just because they have that label, and they're kind of crappy, but they're still self-righteous because they think they're perfect because they have Jesus and they believe in the best thing ever. They have the best father ever. I'm seeing that God gives us free will, and God gives us the power to choose. I have more power and self-control than I think that's been given by God. We're not victims. Like we have the strength to get over things like self-pity / depression, to get over our mistakes, to not feel pitiful about our mistakes, and to get the knowledge and the tools that we learn from our mistakes and prosper. Like God did instill that power in us. Like God does give us the capability of these things, and maybe it's just like we're not able to do that because of addictions to technology because of we're not able to do all those things all of the time, because all the distractions. And you know, even sometimes I think like, oh, I'm doing it for other people, and it's just like I talk so quiet. I'm like progressively getting louder because I realize I'm being quiet, but it has to start with you. And it's like, are you doing it for yourself, or are you doing it just to appease to other people, just to please other people? Because healing from that foundation won't work. It won't work because you're never gonna please everyone. Once you can establish that trust with yourself, I think then things can be successful. And of course, it's like we're never gonna be 1,000% healed like we live on earth. I'll just say a quick prayer. Dear God, thank you for life. Thank you, creative intelligence, for love. And I just ask that the clarity that's needed, the wisdom that should be sought after, I ask for understanding for all of us. In Jesus' name, amen. And if you don't believe in Jesus, it's okay. You can just like, you could take Jesus out of it. I don't want to say you should. That's not really what Christians are supposed to do, but it's like, if you don't believe in God, I want you to know that healing is feeling better, is possible. I'll never be here to shame anyone for not believing in what I believe, because I know it sounds kind of kooky, it sounds kind of weird, but I would kind of be stupid to deny God after the things that I've experienced personally. Not you, me. Anyways, I just grew up with religious trauma, so anytime someone's like, I don't believe in Jesus, I'm like, yo, I get it, it's okay. Yeah.